Welcome to Weekend Snark. Yeah, it's a Snarky in the Suburbs podcast, but this is Weekend Snark. It's going to be a little different from a regular podcast, but it's going to be fun. And if it's not, I'll quit doing it. The reason I'm doing this is because the weekend is when I do all my chores, all my house cleaning, all my yard work. And by the time the weekend rolls around, I've listened to all my favorite podcasts, all my Datelines, all my 2020, all my 48 hours, all the political stuff I listen to. And I'm like, I need fresh stuff. Well, I'm going to give you some fresh stuff. Put the headphones on, do your thing, listen to some Weekend Snark. Now, how it's going to be different is I'm going to have like current events, I'm going to have a Dear Snarky update, and I'm going to have what I call my hot takes. And I want you to send me your hot takes, and I will share them on the next Weekend Snark podcast. But let's start first with a Dear Snarky update. Did you realize this is my 21st episode of my podcast. I have not done one Dear Snarky update. And for that, I say, for shame, Sherry, for shame. So I have a couple of updates. I'm only going to share one. I'll save the rest for other podcasts. And this was episode 3, and it was called the Happiness Hoarder podcast. If you don't remember the letter, or if you're just joining me for the first time, welcome. This young woman wrote me. She's pregnant. She was trying to keep the gender of her baby kind of a secret. She wasn't ready to share it with anybody. And her mom freaked out. Her mom had to know, what's the gender, just bugged her, just was unmerciful about it. Just bugged her. So finally, to throw her mom a bone, she told her that she was having a baby girl, but do not share it with anyone. It was their own private news, and they would share it when they were ready. I totally get that. When you're in the first stages of your pregnancy, you find out what the gender is. Some news you just want to keep to yourself, okay? Which is your right as a parent, what information you will share about your child. So, I do so many wedding updates. Everyone's a bride. This pregnant mom and her husband live about 2 hours away via car from her mom. So she tells her mom, swears her to secrecy, I'm having a girl. Well, guess what her mom does? Her mom, not telling her daughter, not inviting her daughter, throws herself a grandbaby reveal. Let me say it again, a grandbaby reveal. She invites 50 friends and family and has a big reveal about what the sex of her grandbaby is going to be. Now, if you're thinking, why didn't family tell her? They didn't know. They were just coming for a tea party. She was throwing a afternoon tea party. People show up. It's a grandbaby reveal. She does the big thing, pink confetti, you name it. Yay, grandbaby. So, of course, makes it all about her. Meanwhile, one of her sisters was there, not knowing it was a grandbaby reveal, and she calls her sister and says, you won't believe what mom just did. Our pregnant mom is so mad. She gets in her car, drives 2 hours to her hometown, and just what, mom? How could you do that? And then her mom calls her a happiness hoarder and tells her daughter that her daughter is selfish. She likes to keep happy things to herself. She doesn't like to share them. And just because her daughter is a happiness hoarder, the mother doesn't have to be. And then she starts going in on her daughter and saying, you've been this way since you were a child. I've always thought something psychologically was wrong with you. Just a real crazy pants. So daughter writes me, tells me this whole story, and of course, my advice is you're going to need some boundaries, and boundaries with walls so high around your boundaries that, maybe you need a moat, because your mom's going to make everything about her. And I know you've had a life of your mom making everything about her, taking every happy event in someone's life or juicy event or whatever and making it about her. I mean, what are there grandma reveal or grandbaby reveal parties? Do grandmas do this? Because if they do, I have some advice. Stop. Okay, so I said, maybe you just need during your pregnancy to take a pause. Not a no contact, because people get mad now when you say no contact. So you have to say pause. Take a pause and, see if she apologizes, that sort of thing. So she puts her mom on pause. Then she sends me an update. And if you're thinking, I've heard this story, why did you have to recap it? I have to. I can't just go and cold, you should know, go watch episode 3. I'm not doing that to people. You know why? Because I'm a lover and I love people, and I'm not going to make people have to go search for information that I've already shared. Giver and a lover. So anyways, the pregnant mom gets back to me, and she's got to be gosh, 6 months. I'm just guessing from when she wrote the letter and all that kind of stuff. So she gets back to me and she says her mother, remember 2 hours away, her mother showed up at her doctor's appointment. She says, yeah, she said 2 weeks ago, her mom just shows up. She says she's sitting there at her doctor's, in the reception area waiting to be called back. And who walks through that door but her mama, demanding to have a part in the pregnancy, demanding to go with her daughter into her OB appointment. Now you're thinking, how did she find out? Well, remember, she has 2 sisters, and one of those sisters is a freaking snitch because she says, don't tell mom anything, but she wants to share her pregnancy with her 2 sisters. They already have kids, get advice, but one of the sisters had to tell the mom, who her doctor is. Yeah, she's got a doctor appointment, just tells her mom, and her mom shows up. They had to threaten to call security to get that mom to leave the doctor's office. Can you imagine? I cannot. But she was very embarrassing. She said her mom threw a little bit of a hissy fit. It was bad. She left. And then, she said her blood pressure was really high when she went in for all that, and the nurse said, well, I saw what happened. So we're going to take it again in 30 minutes, see what it is. So then after her appointment, her husband didn't go with her because, my husband didn't go with me to every appointment, because did I want him there? Who cares? The big ones, yeah. The little ones, no. So her husband wasn't with her. And I said that before people go, why wasn't her husband with her? They don't go to every appointment. Some of us, we don't need that. We don't want it. So anyways, she calls her sisters and she tells them what happened. And she goes, which one of you told mom? And so the sister confesses. She goes, I told her because it's just stupid. It's just stupid that you won't share anything with her. And she's like, oh my God. You know why? And so now she's on pause with her sister who told her mom the information. And she says, the pause has gone to no contact with her mother. And I'm like, honey, you better not tell anybody when you're in labor, and you better not tell anybody what hospital you're going to, because you're going to get a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. Your mom's demanding to be let into your room. So, yeah, that's horrifying to me. That update is absolutely horrifying. And I can't imagine having a mother like that. And I can't imagine being raised by a mother like that. Don't get it. It's horrible. And she's 2 hours away from her mom. Maybe she needs to make that 22 hours away. Just throwing that out there. Okay, let me know what you think about that update. Now, I want to go into what I'm going to call buzzwords. I don't know. Y'all, I'm just thinking of stuff. But I want to do current events because I don't do that in my regular podcast. Saving current events for the Weekend Snark. Okay, my first one is Prince Harry. And he did an interview, I believe, with the BBC and said that his father is totally, speaking of no contact with him. He has not spoken to his father in a very long time. And he says he realizes that members of his family will never forgive him for his book and, other stuff. I cannot imagine Prince, King, whatever, going no contact with a child. I mean, he's got grandchildren. I cannot imagine. I can imagine being disappointed in a child, because I have been, and I'm sure my kids have been disappointed in me. I can't imagine wanting to take a break from a child. I can't even imagine that, y'all. I just can't. I can't. But I can't imagine my children wanting to take a break from me. I mean, why would they? But I can imagine it. But not speaking to your child, not seeing your grandkids, no. That is so messed up. But I can see that Prince Harry knew what kind of man his father was, and he knew when he wrote the book, Spare, and when he did the Oprah interview, he had to know that his dad was going to be really, really mad, because I think Prince Harry pretty much broke every rule of their family royal protocol. But yeah, at some point you're going to be like, I don't approve of what you did, blah, 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 but I would like a relationship with you. I can't imagine. So, and I think recently he got, his security was revoked. He took it to court. People correct me if I'm wrong, because he wanted his security paid for, or maybe just even royal security when he was in England, and the court said no. So, and then he did a BBC interview, and he said there is not a chance of he doesn't think of them reconciling. He says, so, it's a big nope, people. It's a big nope. I as a parent, I just can't imagine. Plus, with Prince Harry, so many things have happened to him. He lost his mother at a very young age. He endured his parents' ugly divorce. The kid's been through some stuff. I don't care if he was a royal and lived in the lap of luxury. As a human being, he's been through some stuff. And also, as a parent, if you don't like who your child marries, you want to keep the lifeline so they know that you'll help them get out of that marriage, or they're still a member of the family. So I don't understand not extending that lifeline for your child. But it's so sad. It is very sad, and it doesn't speak well of anyone involved in this. And I will leave it at that. And I know there's so many Meghan Markle haters, because I did say something about Meghan Markle in another podcast. And the hate in my messages, it was a lot of hate for Meghan Markle. I'm like, okay, simmer down. Then a lot of you do not watch Bravo shows, and I respect that, but that will not stop me from talking about them in my buzzwords. Okay, so if you don't watch Bravo, a brief recap, there's a show called The Valley. And it's people like in their 30s, 40s, having kids, live in the Valley, in, Los Angeles, the Valley in Los Angeles, hence Valley Girls, movies, etc. And it's a sad show. It is a sad, sad show. It's been so sad. I haven't watched it. I just listened to podcast recaps. And if you like Bravo and aren't listening to Watch What Crappens, you're missing out, people. You are missing out. So, there's this guy named Jax Taylor who was in Vanderpump Rules, married this girl called Brittany, also in Vanderpump Rules, and it's bad. Jax is in rehab, and Jax has always been a problem. Narcissist, liar, I mean, you name it, and he's got an issue. He went to rehab for drug abuse. It's bad. Short temper. Little Brittany, she's from Kentucky. She came onto the show. He wooed her. Very, very charming. Very charming. And she married him. And her life is a horrible, horrible mess right now, which you're seeing play out on the show. And people are saying she knew what she was getting into. She knew exactly the kind of man she was marrying. So why is she surprised, that this is how it turned out? And to that I say, yeah. But I don't know, people. I think everyone's being too hard on Brittany, because I don't think she's, super brilliant. I think she could be wooed and swayed very easily, and Jax can be very charming. I think she wanted to escape Kentucky, when she made it to LA. But parts of Kentucky are gorgeous, so I don't know if I'd want to escape Kentucky. Lexington, gorgeous. So, Jax was kind of like, rescuing her, I guess. I don't know. And plus, all of us make excuses for people in our head. We make excuses. They're going to change. All that BS that is wrong, but you're just going to keep on telling yourself. Or when we get married, he's going to become like this. And we have a kid, he'll become a real family man. You just tell yourself excuses constantly. Come on. And so, we're watching this horrible toxic marriage dissolve. And it's just sad and tragic. But what I want to say is, why in God's green earth would anybody literally sell their soul to be on a reality show? And I know literally you can't sell your soul, but I mean, sell your privacy, your dignity down the river to be on a reality show. There's a chance you could make some money. You could get brand deals, that kind of stuff. But there's a lot easier ways to make money than, selling your soul. All this horrible stuff coming out. There's Brittany and Jax, they have a special needs child, and Brittany's just talking smack in front of her 3-year-old about the dad. I mean, 3-year-olds, this child can hear. He's not hearing impaired. What are you doing? She's telling friends about what happened. I'm like, be a better parent, Brittany. Be a better parent. So I don't know. And then poor Brittany, Jax wanted her breast augmentation, so she's this huge breast. And then she's had all this stuff done to her face, and it's just like, It's a mess. It's a mess. And then you put a child into it. Why would anyone do that? Then this other couple's getting divorced and all this stuff's coming out. I I don't get it. No amount of brand deals is worth that. I don't, and then it's forever. Especially people can find this, their kids can find it, whatever. It is forever. So that's what creeps me out. That is the creepiest thing. Why anybody would do that? I don't understand it. And then you think, well, why do you watch it? Okay, technically, just listening to the recaps. But yeah, you're right. You're right. People wouldn't do it. Bravo couldn't do it unless people like me watch it. So you're right. I'm part of the problem. So yeah, but it's really, really gross. And I don't understand this reality show thing. Plus, my children are really private. If you've noticed, my son's super private. I don't even share his name. I mean, they no more would put up with that. They would be like, my husband, oh my God. No. So I don't get it. I don't get it at all. If someone gets it, explain it to me in the comments. Okay, next on my list, y'all, this is hilarious. So Bill Belichick, mostly known as the coach of the Super Bowl winning New England Patriots, he's 73, dating a 24-year-old, Jordan, who used to be, I guess, an NFL cheerleader. 49-year age difference. 49-year age difference. And and Belichick's like kids that are in their 40s. So little Jordan is like taking over his life, interrupted like an interview he was doing on CBS, started her own little company and is trademarking classic Bill Belichick sayings, all this kind of stuff. And all I have to say is Bill Belichick's kids, they need to get an attorney. They need to make sure finances are locked down, or they're going to get like whatever inheritance they were going to get, it's going to be a penny. This little 24-year-old Jordan, she's a mover and a shaker. And she's moving and she's shaking. But it's something to watch. It is something to watch. It's not even a May-December romance. It's like a March-December romance. And we all know that, I'm going to guess that she's not madly in love with a 73-year-old. So, so I'm going to say that. And I just can't even fathom. My daughter is 25. I cannot fathom her with a 73-year-old man, a man that is a lot older than her dad. So it is like just crazy. But this Jordan or whatever, she's on it. She is on it and she is involved and she is making sure that, she's getting stuff nailed down for her. And, it's another train wreck where you can't look away. And at what point, does it become elder abuse? Seriously. That's why I hope his kids are like on top of this and getting stuff nailed down and figured out. Because, Bill Belichick worked hard. You don't want to see it like when I think he's coaching in North Carolina, not for a college team. Doesn't need the money, or hopefully he doesn't. He didn't give all his like Super Bowl earnings to the 24-year-old. But yeah, it's a train wreck, and I can't look away. I cannot look away. Okay, so there are my buzzy words. Now I have a hot take. My hot take, and y'all, I want you to start sending me like your hot takes, some popular opinions, whatever you want to call it, send it to me. This is my hot take. It's Mother's Day. Next weekend, I believe, is Mother's Day. And you know what's going to happen? A couple days after Mother's Day, I will start getting, I'm going to say a lot, not several. I mostly say about how my Mother's Day was horrible. My husband didn't do anything for me, or it was all about his mom, and, gut-wrenching Mother's Day stories and letters. Okay, and this is my hot take. Get over Mother's Day. Any holiday where other people are expected to celebrate you is probably going to be a disappointment. This is why I've been preaching for years, people. You need to take charge of anything, when it's my birthday, people know exactly what to do. I have a detailed outline, and I've already done everything, including pick up the cake. It is what it is, and I'm fine with that because then I get exactly what I want. So for Mother's Day, if you are sitting back and expecting your partner or your spouse to deliver a great Mother's Day, and then you're going to be crushed if they don't, prepare to be crushed. Right now, you've got a week. Start organizing everything. This is what I want. And what you probably, and this is the easiest thing to do, and this is the best Mother's Day ever. Like for Mother's Day, all I want it to be, I want it to be left alone. Left alone. I would leave the house at 10. I would go to Target and just browse the aisles alone for like, I don't know, probably 2 hours. Then I would have a fun lunch by myself. You know, when you have a bunch of kids, eating a meal by yourself is like a true pleasure. Then I would go see not one, but 2 movies, get myself some dinner, and I would then go to Barnes & Noble and sit in Barnes & Noble till they closed, reading magazines, books, whatever. And then I would go home once my children were in bed. To me, that was the perfect Mother's Day, and I would cap it off with a bubble bath. So you need to plan it. You need to plan it. Mother's Day from hell would be any kind of brunch scenario. I don't want to have to get my kids dressed for brunch. I don't want to have to like get the family to the brunch. That's all work for me. So I never wanted to do that. I mean, sure, my husband was great. He'd help, whatever. But yeah, that's not relaxing. Sit down, finish your pancakes. No, you can't get up and, oh no, mercifully alone. So women that are worried that their Mother's Day are going to suck, may I suggest that you take the delightful, the yummy alone time and leave the house at 10 and don't come back till 9. It was perfect. But the whining about Mother's Day has to stop. Has to stop. I mean, sure, I'll answer every single letter I get from a mom that was disappointed, heartbroken about how like nobody respects the great job she does and her Mother's Day was awful. You need to take control of that now. I'm going to assume most women are in control of, most everything. And you can't be control of Mother's Day. I didn't want to insult your partner or your spouse and say you can't leave them like in charge. I didn't want to do that because some spouses may be all over it and plan these great Mother's Day, and I'm sure I'll get comments telling me that, which is fabulous. But if you're fearful that won't happen, if you know you're going to lose your shit, if your Mother's Day is spent, currying favor with your mother-in-law and doing things your mother-in-law likes, plan your own Mother's Day, be out of the house, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and you will have a fabulous Mother's Day. So that's my hot take. And I know many people disagree with me and tell me I'm weaponizing incompetence by letting the husbands get away with not doing anything. No, you're getting away. You're not letting your husbands get away with not doing anything. You're getting away. And that is a gift that I think every single mother needs. So that's my hot take. Unpopular opinion, I don't know what you call it. But there it is, and you got a week's notice, people. You're getting this a week early, ladies. Make it happen, because I hate to see anybody disappointed. But I also think some people like to be disappointed, so they can go, it was awful, I told you. I think that's just some people's personalities. Not mine. So advocate for yourself by running out of your house for 12 hours on Mother's Day and not returning until that 12 hours is up. Can't recommend it highly enough. Okay, you guys, that has been the Weekend Snark. I had to remind myself to do this. Here it is. Like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And also, y'all buy my books. I've written 5 of them. I'm working on another one. It is so slow going because I've got like a million other projects going on. But I swear to God, I will have a new book out this year. God as my witness. 5 great books, holding up 3. The other ones are under the microphone. All you have to do is go to the link in the bio. Takes you to Amazon, which is the Snarky Universe. Paperback, ebook, audiobook. And the audiobooks are really fun. They're really fun. So please check it out. The books are a big source of my income, so I have to push them. And I love the comments. So here's the deal. If you want to send me in a popular opinion or a hot take, and you want to, keep it on the down low, email me at snarkyinthesuburbs@gmail.com, and I will not let anybody know who it comes from, just like the Dear Snarky letters, and I will share them. With our Weekend Snark. So please do that. I would love to hear from you. And thank you for listening. And I hope, I've been going on for almost 25 minutes. You've gotten some chores done. You folded a bunch of laundry, unloaded a dishwasher. Maybe you're halfway through mowing your grass. So anyways, enjoy. Have a great weekend. And take my advice about Mother's Day. Because, honey, I am not wrong.